Good morning and happy Friday. It's been it's been a hot minute, as my kids would say. I have something small to share today. Man, it's been crazy busy and discovering some new things that I'd love to share. This is one kind of had a turn this morning. Like I came in here thinking I was gonna do a short video on creating custom dynamic tag parameters in GenerateBlocks. Because I've been playing with that. And I can't even remember right now the project I need it for. But anyway, I dug into some of the code in the GenerateBlocks plugin to see how they were addressing some of the functionality so that I can mimic it. Because, these guys are doing it the most efficient way possible, I'm assuming. And because everything else they do is really efficient. And then I discovered that, like, holy cow, there's some stuff in here that I was going to try to mimic that I don't need to. There's things that are already there. And what I mean by that is we all know what a parameter is. Let me pull this over here. So when you're looking at a dynamic tag, you can see that they built in certain parameters for adjusting length and what the read more text is. Use theme in the case of what this is the excerpt. But I had this idea that we could do these utility tags. So there are other content management platforms like Expression Engine that I've used in the past, and they have variable modifiers, and they're just things that you can tack on to the end of a variable to modify its output. I mean, that's pretty simple. That's essentially what a dynamic tag is. You're given a value, but these parameters modify the way that it's output. Uh, Statamic does the same thing. They have an abundance of them. Uh, Not necessarily all ones that we could use in GenerateBlocks, but I was pulling some ideas um, to apply to some custom GenerateBlocks parameters. And lo and behold, I found that there are some that already exist that I was not aware of. So here I am in VS Code, and I'm in the GenerateBlocks plugin folder, and I'm down in dynamic tags, and we have this callback file. So here's where I think a lot of the functionality happens. And again, I don't pretend to be any super wise PHP developer. I'm digging into this to learn, if anything, and it helps me understand what functionality is already there. And again, I was going to come in here and mimic the way they had addressed some things, but I started snooping around, and like I found these other parameters that exist, like truncate, um, trim, case. So we can change the case of the output of something, and replace. So we can do a quick replace of a string within a variable. And yeah, and then this auto P, you can apply the default WordPress formatting to apply line breaks to say you had a text area custom field that wasn't WYSIWYG, but you had it so that hard line breaks converted to line breaks. This would output that. But anyway, I want to just take a quick look at a couple of them, just so you could see. Mainly, maybe trim, but case. I know you can do that with CSS, but just to show you. So what it is here is case is the parameter name, and then in this case it has some value. So if you set it to lower, it's going to lowercase everything, uppercase everything. You get the idea. So if, for example, we want the title to be all uppercase, we can select that. I'm in my single template under elements in GeneratePress, and there are other videos on that, but I'm in this space where I can modify the dynamic tags. I'm going to edit so I can see the raw tag. I'm going to put a space and type in case upper. save that and come here and refresh, look at the output, and it outputs that in all uppercase. So it's not just CSS styling. Obviously, it has actually transformed the text to all uppercase. So that was kind of neat, I thought. And we can even take it a step further, and let's look at the this is the post meta I wanted to look at. So let's say we wanted to replace, and I don't know when this would be valuable or come in handy, but just to know that it's there was kind of, like, oh, you sneaky guys, you threw this in there, but nobody's really talked about it, or at least I've never come across it. Heck, you may be watching this and thinking, I knew about this all along. It's in this video or in this forum post. But let's just say we want to replace Ghostbusters with Star Wars. Why not? So again, we can come in here and we can select that that description post meta, which it's a custom field. And again, so the parameters are, once you define the field you want to get the value from, you insert a space, and then you can start putting in parameters, which are essentially a parameter name, colon, and then a parameter value. And then you separate your parameters with a pipe character. So I'm going to come here at the end and put in another pipe, and we're going to type in replace. And this is how the syntax works, as far as I know. We're going to type in Ghostbusters, and it is case sensitive, I'm fairly certain. So that's what we want it to find. And then we're going to type a comma in Star Wars. Okay. Now that has a space in it. I think it'll handle that. I think there's something that we can, if it doesn't handle that, we can. Yeah, so there you go. So it's gone through and it's quickly replaced every instance of Ghostbusters, which was there just one? There may have been just one. But it replaced it with Star Wars. And I guess we could do Slimer, because I think we can stack, or I say stack, you can Slimer. I don't know how you spell it. Is it Jar Binks? Oh, no. Let's do Yoda. And again, I don't know why you want to do this, but just to know these little tools are there. Yeah, there you go. So now Yoda has replaced Slimer. Yeah, so I mean, and this was let's see, the trim, was it trim? No, truncate. So that was case, and looking at replace, auto P. I don't really have a use for that. I mean, I guess I really don't have a use for any of these, but trim, I think that happens automatically, at least in advanced custom fields. But instances where you'd want to clean up, any kind of leftover before and after white spaces. Yeah, truncate. So this is how I understand it. So it really is more for like an excerpt, which I think there's a trim function as well, or length. Let's see, does that work? Okay. Ooh. Let's see what that does. And it may only work on an excerpt. I don't know. I haven't dug that deep into it. Okay. Maybe it does not work. So if I switch that to trunk. Okay, so by default, if I don't include a second value, I think it's going to try to do it by characters. And we'd rather, well, I guess in most instances, you'd want to do it by words. Yeah, and technically this is not 100 characters. I haven't quite figured that out, why it's doing it that way. But I believe it, here's where it's checking to see if you've included words. Or I say that. if trunk words, okay, if the second part of the array, because right now it's making the parts, it's looking at those two values. It's looking if you included a comma, so you've included like the number of characters or words, and then after that, if you're defining, use words, because I think this is the only option um, that it's even recognizing. So trunk words, let's see, is empty. No, it's not empty. So as long as that is not empty, so one, remember arrays they start at 0. So the second value in the array, if it's not empty, and string position, so if it's saying, oh, okay. So if words is appearing first, I believe that's right, because that'll return, that string position will return the word position or the whatever characters you put here. So yeah, so that's saying if we've used words, then we're going to use the WP trim words function. Otherwise, we're going to use this typical PHP substring. And I'm not sure why it's counting the way it is. So, but anyway, sorry, that was unnecessary. So we're going to, anyway, in short, we're going to add words. Okay, so now that should be roughly 100 words. And I don't know, I mean, I don't have a read more here. Again, I haven't dug in to see exactly what parameters are included with which tags. Actually, that's not going to work because there's no read more link generated, so that would not do anything. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. That's really all there is to show, but we're going to dig into this some more. And what I was doing, the reason I stumbled across it is because I was creating a function myself that was essentially this. I was creating my own replace, like a find and replace. And yeah, so we're going to look at this next time. You see, I've commented it out. So this filter, hook, whatever, lets you hook into the dynamic tags in GenerateBlocks. And in this case, you can look at creating your own options. So I started building my own find and replace option. Little did I know it was already there. But anyway, I have some other ideas for some custom, some additional parameters that might be handy. And I'm going to try to expand on that. So next time, hopefully next week, we're going to look at what it would take to do this and play around with it a little bit. So hope everyone is well. Hope you're off to having a great summer and you're not too hot. Yeah, I apologize. Things have been crazy busy. And that's a good thing. Hope all of you are healthily busy in a healthy way, however you want to say it. But you guys take care. See you next time. Like, subscribe, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Tell me, are you using this stuff? Like, are you, were you aware that those things were there? I was not. So nice surprise. And we have some great updates on the way from the GenerateBlocks team. So I may not be posting about it, but I'm sure others are. Go check it out and take care. Have a great weekend.